Efficiency doesn't always equal effectiveness in the kingdom of God. I'll be honest. I debated whether or not to do this video. I came across a text today, and if I'm just being totally vulnerable and honest with you, it grated against me. Because I am obsessed with efficiency. I will actually map out in my mind the best places to put my cups in the morning so that I don't have to waste time or energy thinking of which one to grab next. I think through the different patterns throughout the day and the different areas where I call like I'm leaking energy. So if I pick out my clothes the night before, then I don't have to think about it in the morning. I can immediately begin thinking about other things. So on my phone, I use it to increase my efficiency with planning out, even at times mapping out every single minute of every single day so that I don't have to guess. I know what is next. Listen, when it comes to efficiency, I'm pretty intense about it. Why? Well, because there's a part of me that feels like it's a discipline. It's a discipline of holiness. I've been given a life, and I want to be able to use it to the best of my ability for the kingdom's sake. But here's what the text challenged me with this morning. Efficiency doesn't always equal effectiveness in the kingdom of God, Shane. To which I said, grr, let me just read the passage. Matthew chapter 26, verses 6 through 13. This is after Jesus has already come into Jerusalem. This is right before the Last Supper, right before Judas agrees to betray Jesus. It says this in verse 6. While Jesus was in Bethany in the home of Simon the leper, a woman came to him with an alabaster jar of very expensive perfume, which she poured on his head as he was reclining at the table. When the disciples saw this, they were indignant. Why this waste? They asked. When it comes to efficiency, I'm not just obsessed about it with my time, I'm also obsessed about it with my money. I struggle to purchase things that are that I can't see a clear use for them. I struggle purchasing something because I like it or because even my family likes it. There's a part of me that just says, but no, why the waste? Matter of fact, there's a part of me where almost in unison, I am saying what the disciples are saying. Why the waste? Verse 9, this perfume could have been sold at a high price. Actually, in Mark's gospel, it says that the perfume could have been sold for around a year's wages. So you're talking $30, $40, $50, $60, $70,000 or so worth of perfume that she uses by pouring it onto Jesus' head. Verse 9, this perfume could have been sold at a high price and the money given to the poor. Man, I'll tell you what, there's a lot of my efficiency, especially when it comes to money, where I have been vocally questioning, not critical, questioning the use of some of the money in some of our mega churches. Don't get me wrong, our mega churches, they also give more money to missions than if you add up almost every other non-mega church in the nation. So I'm actually not one of those that likes to pick sides on this ridiculous debate. But I have questioned different additions that seem to be more about luxury than about gospel effectiveness. And yet, my passion for the poor has to collide with a text that says, verse 10, aware of this, Jesus said to them, why are you bothering this woman? Oh, I don't know, because she just took a really expensive perfume that we could have sold and given to the poor like you told us to, Jesus. Because, chapter 25 of Matthew's gospel ends with the sheep and the goats. We could have used this money to give it to the poor, Jesus. But But instead, she uses a year's wages to dump on your head, and then Jesus uses a word that rebukes me. She has done a beautiful thing to me. Yes, Jesus goes on to talk about how she's prepared his body for burial. But one of the words that he uses there that haunts me is the word beautiful. You see, beauty is embedded into the entire creation. But beauty oftentimes has very little to do with efficiency. I mean, don't get me wrong, the moon has some efficient qualities. But the moon doesn't have to shine brilliantly every year, offering a super moon where it looks like the moon is going to be coming through the window, into your space. The beauty of the moon is pointless. Just like the way that the sun sets. I mean, don't get me wrong, we need the earth to rotate on a daily basis. But the sunsets that God paints, it's not about efficiency, it's about beauty. The way that he embeds patterns into our DNA and the molecules and the ancients used to believe that beauty was one of the transcendent qualities of God. It was one of those qualities of God that was beyond us, like immortality. Because there was something about beauty that captures you up and pulls you into a different space. Churches used to believe in beauty. The way that churches were made with their stained glass windows and the incredibly ornate carvings, beauty was a part of worship. But now, we worship efficiency, myself included. I felt rebuked by Jesus this morning, as if he was saying this to me. Shane, you need more beauty a part of your schedule. For efficiency doesn't always equal effectiveness in the kingdom economy. As a matter of fact, this is what Jesus says in verse 13. Truly I tell you, wherever this gospel is preached throughout the world, what she has done will also be told in memory of her. He puts her act of beauty next to the preaching of the gospel. Here's my challenge for you this week. Listen, I'm not saying, so go out there and buy a luxury car. That's not what I'm saying. I'm not saying, go out there and spend money. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is this. I want you to wrestle this week with whether or not you are addicted to efficiency. Because I believe that sometimes we need to waste more time, maybe even more money, to create space for the Spirit, for the gospel to move through the channels of beauty. So how are you creating space and engaging beauty? I know it's a hard teaching, but it's one that I feel like in America today, we need. I love you guys. I'll talk to you next week.